welcome back to another live. It's been a little while since I've done one, and I kind of went off the radar for about a week because I took a trip to Walt Disney World. And I wanted to wait until I got back to, share that experience with you because I wanted to make sure that it was safe, that I felt comfortable, and it was something that I wanted to share. I don't ever want to encourage you to do something that you don't feel comfortable with. So I think it was really important for me to get that experience of being back at the Magic Kingdom, back at Walt Disney World, because I have really started to get a lot of requests for it. Sort of the end of the school year, summertime, going into the 50th anniversary in the fall. We know that next year we're gonna have that. We're gonna have, again, hopefully we're gonna go back to our Mickey's Not So Scary and our Mickey's Very Merry. So I think a lot of people are really excited to kind of get back to normal, but we're not quite there yet. And I'm not sure how long it's going to take to get there. So I thought it was really important that I visit so that I can see what all of the COVID precautions looked like in the park, so that I could see, what those changes were, how it affected the magic, and kind of what my feelings were about it. So I will be the first to say, I know everybody's risk aversion is different. People have different comfort levels of things that they consider risky. And for me, I've been very, very anxious throughout the whole pandemic. And the reason is it just makes me really nervous. And I can tell you, going to Walmart is terrifying for me. So, I didn't go into this trip to Walt Disney World, feeling like I was untouchable. I went in thinking I need to take precautions. I need to pack a lot of masks and hand sanitizer and wipes and all of those things, and to do my best to mitigate as much as possible. And the experience, I think, was really positive. So the flights, I flew there and back on Frontier because they were just very, very inexpensive. Wouldn't be an airline that I would recommend for a long haul flight, but there's a direct from Buffalo to Orlando, and it's about a 2 hour and 16-minute flight. So at that price, it's absolutely doable. Their tray tables are literally about this big, and there's no snack service or anything like that. It's very no frills. But for 2 hours and 16 minutes, you can do just about anything. So of course we get there and we immediately get into the Disney bubble. Magic Express, again, they are assigning you seats on the Magic Express. You actually get a seat number. So if you guys have done this before and you've been on the Magic Express, you know that you usually just typically get told which bus lane to go in, get on your bus, you tell them which resort, and it's kind of a free-for-all. You were assigned a seat, and there was a row of seats in between every party, so there was social distancing from the beginning. You get to your resort, they are really encouraging you to use all of the app for your check-in. You can, if you don't have the Magic Bands, because they've stopped doing that as a complimentary part of your package, you can use your phone to unlock your room. So I think that's one of the reasons that they're trying to kind of move away from some of that stuff. Now, if you've been in the past, you probably have Magic Bands. I have about a dozen, so I just used the one that I already had and linked that up to my reservation. We got to the resort and we got into our room. And we stayed at Pop Century, and I have to tell you, I feel like it's been so long since I've been at Disney because I haven't been there for the Skyliner. I haven't been since 2019, if you can believe it. So, Skyliner changes the game. I will tell you, I don't ever want to stay in a resort that's not on the Skyliner. It's so nice to have that option for transportation. And it's only you and your travel party who gets into each little gondola. It moves very fast because it's kind of always going. They have a special area if you have a scooter or need extra access. So those will stop and slow down, where the other ones kind of just move along. So if you've been on a continuous ride like Haunted Mansion, it's kind of like that. And you can get everywhere in 15 minutes. It's really fast. And I really enjoyed it. So the other thing I will mention is that at the food court at Pop Century, if you guys are kind of used to going in and kind of looking at the bakery case and seeing cupcakes or what kind of snacks, you do have to pre-order everything on your phone through the app. I was a little grumpy about that in the beginning, but after I'd done it, it made a lot of sense and it was super fast. I mean, you order it, you walk up, you show somebody at the door your order number and that it's ready, and then you walk up and it's waiting for you at a station, you grab it and you go. Like, you don't, that's it. It's already paid for, it's done. You grab it and you go. So that was really easy. Even the bus service, so we still had to take a bus to the Magic Kingdom, and that, again, the driver is assigning you a spot so that you are seated with your family and nobody else, and there's dividers. So that, you know, you have like a barrier between you and the next party. So it's all very, very well thought out. There's hand sanitizer literally every 10 feet, and that's not an underestimation. So anywhere you go, you can hand sanitize. We happened to go and it was very cold for Walt Disney standards. It was in the 40s in the morning and evening, and like mid 50s to low 60s during the day. So definitely sweatshirts, hats, things like that. I had wished that I brought a pair of gloves because I didn't think to do that, and my hands were the only things that got chilly. But it definitely made wearing the mask all day a little bit easier because it wasn't hot. I can imagine when it's hot, it's not nearly as comfortable to have to wear your mask all day. So my recommendation would be obviously to pack multiple masks. So Disney is super strict in the bubble about the mask wearing. So if you are not happy about mask wearing, this is not the place for you. If you appreciate that everybody is consistently wearing their masks at all times, then this is the place for you. I can tell you, you know, here's an example. We were waiting in line outside of Hollywood Studios, and I had like a little power bar, and I had to pull down my mask, take a bite, and like pull my mask back up. And the line was social distance. Like, they put you in a spot in the line. So like that, I couldn't just pull my mask down and eat it, because somebody else was there with a coffee, and she told her, like the cast member told them, you have to keep your mask on. So you can like pull it down to take a sip, but you've got to put it right back on. So if you want to take your mask off, you have to go to one of the mask like rest areas where you're allowed to do that. You have to be seated to eat. So seated at a restaurant, seated on a bench, seated somewhere in stationary to eat or drink, and you can take your mask off. If you're walking around, you cannot take your mask off, even if you have a drink in your hand. So they're very strict about it. Social distancing is no joke, and I'll be honest, I kind of love it. So the only downside to the socially distant lines is that it can be very hard to gauge how long an attraction's line really is, because, you know, we walked up to, I'm trying to think of a good example. Oh, the Winnie the Pooh ride. I went on that. It was a 15-minute wait, and the line was all the way back to the teacups. So it seemed like it was a lot longer than it really was. So the you really kind of do have to pay attention to those queue numbers, because those lines will look really long. But everywhere there is clearly marked 6 feet, and they're all over the park, because as you can imagine, the lines for some of the rides will like spread out into the park. Even beforehand, if you guys remember going to the parks before and you were getting there like for rope drop early in the morning, getting into those front gates was a hot mess. It was just like a mass of people, right? Trying to filter through security. And now when you walk up, it's evenly spaced. So we walked up to Hollywood Studios, and a cast member grabbed us and they gave us a number. Stand in your number. So it's much more organized, which I actually really love, and I hope that they continue that into the future, because it's so much better than just the crowd of people trying to like push through. Security is much easier. They've put metal detectors in, so you don't have to open all your bags. You do have to do the temperature check, but they have cast members stationed out there. It's a quick, like no touch forehead scan. And then even they've gotten rid of the little fingerprint part of the actual admission. So you scan your Magic Band or your card, and you used to have to do the finger. Now you don't do that. So the process is really sped up. And again, there's hand sanitizer everywhere. So social distancing, very strict on the mask rules, hand sanitizers everywhere. And the maximum park capacity is 35%, I think right now, 30 or 35. So it's already very low. And of course, when I was there, it was even under that, because it was like cool and chilly, and it's between any kind of holidays. So even for the longest line of the entire time I was there, and this was the evening, so like before closing, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train was like 45 minutes, and that was the longest line. I got onto Flight of Passage, 20 minutes. Everest, walk on. Safari, walk on, all in Animal Kingdom Park. Walked on to Haunted Mansion, walked on to Pirates, walked on to a bunch of those rides. Epcot, walked on to Frozen Ever After, which never happens. Well, not quite a walk. It was like a 20-minute wait, but you guys know that usually is like over an hour. Walked on to Soarin'. What else do we... Oh, and then, of course, Galaxy's Edge. I hadn't seen Galaxy's Edge. We'd have our trip canceled 3 times to go to Galaxy's Edge. So that was finally the experience that I got to see. 10 minutes for Smuggler's Run. We were on it. We got a Rise of the Resistance boarding group. We were in 23. We did Mickey and Minnie's Railway first, 10-minute wait. So we honestly busted out everything in Hollywood Studios by 12:30. So it was fantastic. And again, socially distant, mask wearing, to hand sanitizer everywhere. So is it right for you to go right now? I can't tell you that. I mean, we also know that there's things going on. You have to make those kind of decisions for yourself. I do think it's unfortunate that people are vacation shaming, because I can tell you, I mean, my personal experience, and I'm pretty anxious, this was easier than going to Walmart. On like a trip to Walmart, I see more people without a mask. I see people really grumpy. I see people not social distancing, and I see a lot of shenanigans, and there was none of it. So, and then the testing requirements. So the positive is that in the Orlando airport, there is a testing site, a rapid testing site, like 15-minute results right in the terminal. So when we got there, you're able to, I think 3 days in advance, make a reservation. Made a reservation through the app on our phone, and then you just go right in. So you get that test literally right before you get on the flight, because you need a test within 72 hours of coming back. And then once I was back, I waited the 4 days and got the rapid test through Brighton Eggert Pharmacy. So if you guys are in the Western New York area, that's a place that you can get the rapid test. And again, obviously both of them came back negative. So that's it. So I do think that the testing now, especially now that we have more options for the rapid testing, is going to help us get back to normal a little bit faster. So that was my experience. Do I think that you should book right now and go to Disney World? I'm never going to tell you that's the thing that you should do. I think that you need to weigh what is best for you and your mental health and your physical health and your, all of those things. Do I think it's the worst possible thing you could do right now? No. From personal experience, I thought it was fantastic. And I thought it was really, truly the best I've ever seen any place deal with COVID restrictions and try to keep their guests safe. They are doing a fantastic job. So is there still magic? Yes, there's still magic. So we don't have like character dining like we used to. There's a few places open where you can interact, but again, it's going to be socially distant. So we don't have our character encounters like we used to. Not all of the snack carts are open because again, they don't want to encourage people walking around and eating. The parks are closing earlier. We don't have any of our nighttime spectaculars. So Epcot stays open the latest till 8 p.m. Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom are closing at 7. So there's some changes. Not all of maybe your favorite restaurants are open right now. So is it the best time to go for the first time? No. If you've been dreaming about taking your family to Walt Disney World for the first time, this is not the best time. If you've been and you're a veteran and you know what you like and these things are not going to bother you, then I think it's a great option to do. And they've done some other things that I think are super special that I hope they keep. They're doing these things we're calling character cavalcades. I don't know why that was hard to say. So some examples, like in Animal Kingdom, they put Mickey and Minnie and Pluto on a boat, and they come by and they wave to you. It's really cute. In Epcot, they had 2 different cavalcades. They had one that I saw that was all the princesses in a big horse-drawn carriage that just kind of walked down sort of the northern part of the World Showcase, and then another one with like Mickey and Minnie that went kind of through the southern part, and they just go down the street and you never know when they're gonna come. Pooh's been known to pop up over there in that sort of gateway between Tomorrowland and I don't know why I keep losing the World Showcase. In Magic Kingdom, the stepsisters, the evil stepsisters, were there kind of interacting with guests. They were socially distanced, but you never see them. They're rare characters to come out, so that was fun. So there's some really fun sort of impromptu things that are happening that I think are really magical, and I kind of hope that they keep some of that because I think that that was really cool. It's a little bit more casual. So what does all this mean for the 50th? So this fall, starting in October, we have the 50th anniversary. So will we be done with masks? I don't know. I think we're still going to have masks through all of 2021. I really do. That could change. The hope is that our circumstances change enough that changes. But that's kind of my thought, is that we're probably going to keep the masks. And they're not the worst thing in the world, I'll be totally honest with you. So I would just be prepared for that. I think that as we hopefully as a whole get healthier and our numbers go down, they're going to open up capacity. So that's another thing to think about for the 50th. And I think a lot of the attractions that they were hoping to have ready for that big celebration may not be ready. So I think that the nighttime spectaculars will come back. I think that there will still be some special things that they've planned to do that will be ready. Ratatouille will be ready, but some other things in Epcot just slowed down. We lost the Mary Poppins attraction, which I think is really sad. So there's some things like that. I think Tron will be open. I don't know if Guardians of the Galaxy will be open. So there's still some things that are up in the air. But I do think that fall into winter is going to be a much more normal experience at Walt Disney World. We still may have some masks, but we may be able to have more interactions with our characters and things like that. So, you know, I think it's still a really good time to plan. I think I probably still wouldn't plan our very first family visit until we kind of get a better picture about that. But if you are a Disney veteran and you've been there before, I think the 50th is still going to be a really cool experience. And I think we're going to still have the openings of a lot of attractions. So I think that's really cool. So that's kind of like my take on the experience that I wanted to share with you guys. If you guys have been following on social media, the last 2 days have been Disney travel focused. So everything from obviously the parks to Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney Aulani. Those are all open. Aulani, Hawaii is open and ready. A lot of the airlines are making it very easy. United and Hawaiian are both offering that test that you need. So you do need a test before you arrive in Hawaii, but it is open and ready for business. So Aulani is a great option if you guys are looking for a really fun family vacation. I do think Disney Cruise Line is, again, something we may not see until the fall or winter come back. I know there's some hopes for the summer. We might see some of those shorter 3-night departures, but I still think cruising is up in the air and not really ready to come back until 2022. So that was my experience. I also want to show you guys my new ears. Look at these ears. Look at how cute they are. Now, these are not new ears in general, but these are new ears for me, and I love Up. Disney Express, do you mean, Lisa, do you mean the Fast Pass? So Fast Passes right now are not a thing. They've eliminated that right now because we do have a lower capacity in the parks. So there's only one ride, and that's Rise of the Resistance, that you do need a digital boarding group. So they offer those 2 times a day. Oh, the bus from the airport. Yeah. So let me finish what I was saying in case anybody's interested. Rise of the Resistance, you do need a boarding group. So 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. you go onto the app and you join a boarding group, if you can get one. So the Magic Express 2022, it's supposed to be going away. So we still have it all of 2021. And I love the Magic Express. It's a complimentary service. Complimentary. That really means it's already factored into the price of your stay. But it was a complimentary bus from the Orlando airport to your resort hotel. As of right now, Disney has said that that service is going away. Now, couple things. One, that might not be the final answer. I think that people are not happy about that, and we might see a change in that. I don't know. It might be an extra add-on. They might just bring it back complimentary. We don't know. At the end of the day, that's actually not run by Walt Disney. It's or Disney Travel. It's actually run by Mears. So they're the company that owns the bus and offers the service. So they contract through Disney for that. Mears has said they're still going to offer that. So obviously, if you want to do that and it's not part of your package, it's going to be an additional add-on. They are also building a train, a high-speed train from the airport to the resorts. So I think that's an announcement that they've made, but I don't know if that's really going to be the reality in 2022. So we'll have to kind of see as things get a little bit closer. My suspicion is that they're relying on that train to kind of take over, but if it's not ready, then they may have to change that. I don't know. When is the direct service from the airport? Okay, so the direct service of the train, I think they're hoping to have that in place for 2022, and that's why they've made that announcement about the Magic Express. So I think timing-wise, we don't know. I think that we'll figure it out when we get there, and I think that if the train's not ready, they'll probably offer some other option, but I think that that's what they're betting on, is that train service will be there. And in theory, it's going to be much faster than the bus, much easier to get you there. Logistically, I don't know how that's going to work. Is the train going to drop you off at a central port and then you're going to have to get on an internal Disney bus to get to your resort? We'll see. I mean, they might drop you off at the transportation hub, which is where you catch the monorail so that guests on the monorail line can just jump right on there. I'm not really sure what and where and when and how that's gonna land, but that's kind of the plan, that there's gonna be that high-speed train that's gonna go from the airport to Walt Disney World. I'm just seeing if any other questions pop up. So that was my experience. Again, I never want you guys to feel like I'm telling you have to do something and it's the right choice for you. Maybe I'm a bad travel agent and a business person for that. But I want you all to feel comfortable and safe, and I can only tell you my personal experiences and how I felt. So please, if you have any questions, let me know. Are the prices lower with the... Okay, so... and I didn't answer that. Prices are, I think, overall a little bit lower right now. The thing with Walt Disney World is, even if you book at like regular price, I always tell people that's not going to be the price that you end up paying. There's always a discount or a promotion or something. There's always something going on. So, the resorts, I think, were 35% off, and then I didn't get a discount on the ticket. So depending on what you want to do, sometimes it's better to do an overall package that has the resort and tickets. I mean, I still did that, but sometimes that deal's better depending on your length of stay. So if you're staying like a week, usually that's a better one because you get like 2 or 3 days of tickets for free depending on what's going on. I went in for like 3 nights. It was a really like quick in and out. So we had like 30% off the rooms. So I think our room was only like maybe like $120 or $30 a night. And that was Pop Century. So that was really low. It's pricing out like for mid-February break, like around $179. And that's with the discount. Again, it's Disney. The prices aren't tremendously low. I think they are a little bit under what we would see. but not so much. I think the other thing is too is that there is such limited capacity. Not all of the hotels are open. So they are still filling the capacity that they have, if that makes sense, because they haven't reopened like any of the Port Orleans resorts, a couple of the other ones. So in the resorts that they do have open, and again, they can't fill those at 100% either. For the amount of availability that they have, they are selling that. So it is a little bit lower, but again, with Disney, I think if you're paying full price ever, you need to talk to a travel agent because, and it's not that we have a special discount or anything like that, it's that there's always something that comes up before you travel that we can likely apply to get you a lower price. And I know I actually have done that for Lisa, and she just said she DM'd me because she booked her vacation really early and different promotions came out. So I always kind of double check. Yeah, so I didn't get to go to Universal, but what I'm hearing the feedback is it's a very similar experience to Disney and how they're handling things. I also would think in general, I find that Universal is not nearly as busy as Walt Disney World in terms of just the amount of guests there. So that's also, I think, a nice option too. The other thing I love about Universal, especially if you stay, and I love staying in the resorts that are on the like lagoon, because you can take the boat, and I just feel like what I love Walt Disney World, but a lot of times it feels like you have to go so far to get to everything. Where at Universal, it's kind of all right there already. So, and that's really easy. Like, you know, at Disney, it's like, okay, it might take me like 25, 30 minutes to get back to my resort, where Universal is going to take you 10 or 15. So I think both of those are really good experiences. Now, you know, things are going to ebb and flow during this, I think, next 3 to 4 months. You know, we have a lot of changes in terms of, you know, the vaccine rollout and different things going on like that. So, you know, things may change and flux. So the good news is that we can always change and flow if we need to. Disney's not going to lock you into anything. I'm only going to like suggest that you fly on airlines that are going to give you flexible change options and things like that. So my motto through all of this is let's hope for the best, let's plan for the worst. And, you know, we can always change, that nothing is locked in place, but I do think it's important that you guys hear from me. So if you guys have questions, like Lisa, just DM me and we can talk offline and I can get a little bit more specific about my experience, or if you guys have questions that maybe I didn't even think to answer. So I am going to say goodnight and that I will see you guys real soon. Oh, also I do have a Disney specific group because I don't try to overload the business Facebook page or the regular group with all Disney stuff because there's so much stuff always coming out. There is a Travel Disney Brilliant group. So if you want to join that, please do so because that's all Disney all the time. All right, guys, have a good night. I'll see you real soon.